Well, isn't this quite surprising? A One Piece chapter on a Monday. And at the end of the chapter, it's revealed that One Piece will be on break next week. So, what that means is that this is the final chapter we're gonna get until not this week, not this upcoming Thursday, not next Thursday, but the Thursday after that. So, we have another break right after Golden Week. So, yeah. That kind of sucks, because we're left with a pretty big cliffhanger when it comes to this week's chapter of One Piece. But, first things first, I want to talk about. Some might have noticed, there's been many discussion topics on Lola, a character that has been speculated to maybe have Big Mom as her mother. But with this chapter, it is revealed that this character that we see is not in fact Lola, but most likely Lola's mother. Let me explain. I most likely will have the pictures on the screen for you to see for yourself. I might swap them back and forth. But here, this picture, the manga panel picture, this is the panel we got in the latest chapter of One Piece. And this is a character that many might speculate to be Lola, a character we met a long time ago, before the time skip. And this picture you're seeing, this is Lola in the past, the character we saw for the first time. Now, of course, it's an anime picture, but still the design is very similar. So, the main thing we want to look at here is how different the characters are, like certain features about them. Now, they look pretty similar. I mean, the face structure and everything, I mean, some of their hairstyle, like the way the hairstyle is at the top and all that, it looks very similar. But there's two core features about Lola that this character does not have. And if you look at the pictures I've already shown, most likely you might already see it, but I want to kind of let you all know. So, first things first, the hair. The hair is shorter on this manga panel, this, character we just got, like this new one that everybody might speculate to be Lola. The hair is shorter, the pigtails are a lot smaller, it's not hanging down like we see in the past. Well, this could easily be kind of brushed under the rug, and many might think, oh, this is nothing, this just means this character got a haircut, which I could agree with that. That's a possibility. Maybe a character got a haircut and the pigtails are smaller, and I mean, a lot of time has passed, so that's a possibility. So the next thing we want to look at is the teeth. One of the core features of Lola is her missing tooth. She has a missing tooth right in the front. And if you go to this character in the manga panel, if you look at the top part, where a supposedly missing tooth would be, you actually still see a tooth. You even see in the corner where her lip comes down, if you look very closely, you will see a start of a tooth. So this lets us know that this character is not missing a tooth like Lola from the past. Now, as we know, Lola's main objective in the past was actually to find her mother. She fought very fond of her mother, she's a very powerful pirate, and many assume that most likely this powerful pirate was Big Mom. But now, after looking at this chapter, it's a very likely possibility that this character we see in this chapter could be Lola's mother. Because there's a lot of similarities. I mean, you can't not say that this isn't like Lola in a way. So, either A, this person is Lola's sister, or Lola's mother. One or the other. And this person is probably going to carry a lot of weight in this upcoming arc of One Piece, especially when it comes to Big Mom, and maybe the Straw Hats getting help when they try to save Sanji. Now, getting off of that, let's talk about the other segments of this chapter. So, the chapter is very comedy-ish. Like, I mean, there's a lot of progression here, a lot of different Sanji moments throughout this chapter, which I'm glad to see Sanji once again in a chapter. I'm so glad we've been getting a lot of Sanji this year. It makes me so happy. I'm glad this is the year of Sanji. We've discussed this, but I'm so glad to see how he's getting a lot more chapters for himself. We're getting some more characterization to him, some of his backstory, and even at the end of the chapter, we get a cliffhanger with Sanji's supposed family member, maybe brother, maybe father, because if you look closely, I'm going to go to the final page here to look at it for myself, where I can discuss it. If you go to the final page and look at the bottom right, you see some sort of shades. No, that looks really badass. But if you look closely, you will see some form of curly eyebrow, which we know that's a signature trait when it comes to Sanji. He's curly eyebrows. So, right there, that person has a similar style of eyebrow, just like Sanji. And also the face, the structure of the chin and all that looks very similar to Sanji too, especially with the eye design. So, this most likely is Sanji's brother. The main question is, how different is this brother compared to Sanji? Because as we know, this is a very brutal family. This family has a big name, and many people fear this name. It's a legendary family. So, will this person that looks like Sanji be like Sanji? I highly doubt that. Maybe a twin brother? Possibility. But I could see that maybe this brother could be the exact opposite of Sanji in a way. I could definitely see that. Imagine if this brother is like, you know, the opposite Sanji when it comes to women. Like, for instance, as we know, Sanji, he will lose a battle for any woman, any girl he meets. And what if this character, this person that is the brother of Sanji, if it is, it's some of his family members, it's one of his family members because of the design, but what if this person is the exact opposite of Sanji? That'd be badass. Like, what if he uses his hands to fight instead of his legs? What if he, you know, uses, you know, other different methods that are exactly opposite of Sanji? I mean, what if he, you know, hates cooking or something? I mean, I'm just throwing things out there. Knowing Oda, he would do something like that. He might throw in an opposite Sanji or something since this is the year of Sanji. So I would like that. I would really like that. But besides those serious moments with going on with Big Mom and also finding out that Caesar, he's imprisoned, and seeing Lola speculation going on in this chapter, we have some comedy moments going on. For instance, the Straw Hat crew, once again, they're having some struggle times. We've discussed this, but they're still having some struggle times. They're starving, they're running out of medical supplies. I mean, everything's going to shit right now because all the crew members cannot eat, and pretty much they're fucking up their schedules to be able to cook for everyone else. So right there, it's really bad. Because of the crew being on the verge of starving, they ate anything that they possibly could catch. And Luffy, he catches a big fish. Thankfully, Chopper goes back to research the fish. He's like, hey, this fish is kind of poisonous. Even Sanji has a note here, like, don't eat the skin. And Luffy was straight up eating the skin of this fish before it was even cooked. And is poisonous. Thankfully, Luffy, as we know, he's grown some form of immunity to poison since his time before the time skip. So, right there, it's amusing to see how fucked up the Straw Hat crew is without Sanji, because I've discussed this briefly in the last chapter review. I mean, Sanji's been a part of the crew in the East Blue Saga. A very long time. Say what you will, that was very early on in the series. Very fucking early on. And that was, like, before the Grand Line. So you gotta imagine how rough it is after all these years, months, and even days, even just days in general of someone cooking for you, and that being gone, that will fuck you up. And that's what's going on here. So, I'll tell you what, Sanji's gonna get a lot of respect. I could see Sanji getting so much fucking respect when he finally gets on the crew, just because of how much suffering Luffy and Nami and everybody's going through. So, yeah. Oh yeah, Carrot. Carrot actually surprised me with something. The way she's acting throughout the crew in this chapter, she's definitely Straw Hat material, definitely, because I mean, it seems like she's just meshing so well with the crew members right now. The way she acts, or, you know, dialogue she says in the chapters, the way she talks to Nami, just all sorts of stuff. She seems like a type of character that would fit in with the Straw Hats. And as I've said for a while now, I've said it through off and on throughout the chapter reviews, the Straw Hat crew needs another female character. They really do. They need a really strong, battle-orientated female character that's on the front lines, like Zoro and Sanji and Luffy. They need a female character that'll be up close personal, beating the shit out of people. Because, I mean, look, Nami, she's a range fighter, and so is Nico Robin. They're both kind of range fighters. They're strong, they're powerful in their own ways, but they're range fighters. And so we need a strong female character that's kind of like, for instance, Zoro and Sanji. I would like to see a very strong female character that could be a close range fighter. Carrot does fit that description. I mean, she has agility, she can jump high. I mean, I would love to see her being a main crew member that could fight up close and stuff, so possibility. But overall, this chapter of One Piece sets up a lot and has some really cool designs throughout it. I mean, look, we got an Alice in Wonderland design in this chapter. I don't know how many people noticed that, but at the beginning of the chapter with Big Mom's ship, there was 2 core references to Alice in Wonderland. And it's kind of obvious when you got to the second one, but the first one was kind of easy to miss. The first one looked like the card soldiers you saw in Alice in Wonderland. You know, the different cards, the heart cards and stuff? You saw these little soldiers at the beginning of the chapter. Let me find out the page. Give me just a second. Page 1, you see a bunch of soldiers lined up, and they look like they have some form of heart shapes. They have, like, little spears and stuff with hearts at the top. It reminds me a lot of the card soldiers from Alice in Wonderland. And then you have it to where after that, Sanji's walking into his room, he's trying to go inside, and the door has a face on it. It reminds me of the door of Alice in Wonderland. You remember where Alice had to shrink herself to get through the doorway? That reminds me of that right there. I mean, just this doorway with a face on it and all that, snoring, sleeping, waking up, and having its own voice. It makes me think of Alice in Wonderland. So I'm assuming that we're going to get to see a lot of Alice in Wonderland type themes throughout this arc, since, I mean, we're already seeing it on Big Mom's ship. That's cool, though. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. You all have a wonderful day or night wherever you live. Please be safe. Chibi out.